Michael J. Fox stars. First, they went back to the past. Next, they're going forward.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Fasten your seatbelts.
I don't know how to tell you this, but you're in a time machine.
Batter up! Where is that kid? Something very familiar about all this.
Michael J. Fox.
Talk about deja vu.
Leah Thompson.
I'm in the future.
Christopher Lloyd.
Great Scott.
Back to the Future 2. Next on USA.
Precisely on schedule.
This cost me $300!
Would you shut up about the car?
Hey, and another thing, how do you know where I live?
Let's just say we're related, Biff. And that being the case, I got a little present for you. Something that'll make you rich. You want to be rich, don't you?
Oh, yeah, sure, right. That's rich. You're gonna make me rich?
You see this book? This book tells the future. Tells the results of every major sports event till the end of the century. Football, baseball, horse races, boxing. The information in here is worth millions, and I'm giving it to you.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you very much. Now, why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
It's leave, you idiot. Make like a tree and leave. You sound like a damn fool when you say it wrong.
All right, then, leave! And take your book with you.
Don't you get it? You could make a fortune with this book. Let me show you.
Yard line, UCLA trails 17-16. It's 4th and 11 with only 18 seconds left in this game. I'd say it's all over for UCLA.
Bet you $1,000,000 UCLA wins at 19-17.
What are you, deaf, old man? He just said it was over. You lost.
Oh, yeah?
Here comes Decker with a kick. It's up. It looks good, folks. It looks very good. Field goal. UCLA wins 19-17. Listen to this Coliseum crowd go wild. Jim Decker, senior head.
All right, Pops, what's the gag? How did you know what the score was going to be?
I told you it's in this book. All you gotta do is bet on the winner and you'll never lose.
Marchy McFly, Marchy McFly. Year 6 of Marchy McFly. Ready or not, Year 6 of Marchy McFly. I'm back, great Scott. It's year 6. 31 straight days for you. In year 6. It's back to the future part 2. Every day. Gonna have a little talk of Marty and Doc. 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 21. It's day 21, which means 10 more, and I will be done. Happy Saturday, everybody. It's Saturday, 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 Saturday on Marchy McFly. It's Saturday, March 21st. Yes, that means it is the 21st day of Marchy McFly, the 21st day of Marchy McFly 6. And for the 21st day in a row, I'm here talking to you about Back to the Future Part 2. And you may say to yourself, Michael, why were you singing that Elton John song at the beginning of this episode? Elton John, what does he have to do with Back to the Future Part 2? Well, that's a really good question, you. Actually, he does have something to do with Back to the Future Part 2 based on an article that came out 2 days ago. Okay, I shouldn't say he has something to do with Back to the Future Part 2 as much as he has to do with what this article says is a Back to the Future Part 2 star. Okay, there's an article that came out 2 days ago. And by the way, I'm saying star. When I said star, I don't know if you could hear the air quotes, but I was doing them. There's an article that came out 2 days ago from Entertainment Weekly. I will put a link to it in the show notes. And this is the actual title of the article. Back to the Future Part 2 star says she once was Elton John's beard for a night. Gotta keep up the image, darling. Yes, a Back to the Future Part 2 star went out with Elton John and pretended to be his date for the evening. Who could it be? Was it Lorraine? Was it Lorraine's friend Babs? It was Darlene Vogel. And you're going to say, wait, who is Darlene Vogel? Well, I promised myself I wouldn't talk about 2015 anymore, but Darlene Vogel appeared as the villain Spike in the 1989 movie. Who knew she even had a name? I think I probably mentioned it because I might have looked it up, but Darlene Vogel appeared as Spike. Now, I have to be completely honest with you. I saw this headline and I saved it to my, like, a bookmark it so that I could talk about it on an episode. And then yesterday's episode, I did it very early before I even saw this. And I thought, oh, I got to save this for tomorrow. And now tomorrow is today. So here I am. And I haven't read even an inkling of the article. So we're going to go through this together. It says, key points. Darlene Vogel recalled a night in Hollywood decades ago when she was Elton John's beard. Okay. The Back to the Future 2 star. I mean, again, she was featured in it, but I can't say that she is a star. Back to the Future Part 2 actress described the Rocket Man singer as so nice and compared it to hanging out with an old friend. I felt like I was just hanging out with a buddy. I didn't even understand that it was like Elton John, said Vogel. That's what this article is saying. And there's a picture of her as young Spike. Who knew she was Spike in the... You know, she's the one who says, "What's the matter, McFly? Don't got any scrote," and then lifts young Marty McFly, Marchy, by his balls. And she is now, I guess she was she's considered a star. So Darlene Vogel is reflecting on an evening with Elton John. This is the article. During a March 10 episode of the Patrick LeBoucher podcast. Oh, the Patrick LeBoucher podcast. I've never heard of this guy. I wonder if it has, it has views from 10, 11. He's got 22,000 subscribers. So I can't, wait a minute. I recognize this guy. He's an actor. He was in okay, wait a minute. This guy was on wasn't he on JAG or one of those shows? He was on Little House on the Prairie. And he was on something for a long time, even though he's a child actor. What the hell was he on? JAG. He was on JAG and NCIS. And now he's got a podcast because why wouldn't he? I mean, anybody can have a podcast nowadays. Literally anybody. So he's on this podcast, and I guess she wants to tell a story. Maybe they acted together. I don't know. It says Vogel, who played Leslie Spike O'Malley. Excuse me. What? Now, did we see that in the book? I'm reading Back to the Future Part 2, the book right now, but did we see that even in the credits? Who? Okay, I'm typing it in right now. IMDb. Full cast. Now she is listed as Spike. Where the hell did we get the name Leslie Spike O'Malley? In the beloved franchise. No, she played Leslie Spike O'Malley for 5 minutes in the future. Okay, so it's okay, but she did play, and she was in the beloved franchise, just as much as, the kid who says, "Keep it, I got a pit bull now." I mean, that's a star too. So, in the beloved franchise, knew the musician's manager through a friend and was able to see him at Le Dome. Later that night, Vogel suggested going to the China Club. So we hop in his limo and I'm with Elton. I'm just reading how it says. I'm with Elton John going to the China Club, hang out with him. He gets on stage, blows Michael Bolton off the stage and starts performing, and I'm hanging out with him. And then we leave, and Elton has his arm around me, and he's like, are these actual quotes? And he's like, gotta keep up the image, darling. And I'm like, use me. Okay. Like, what, can we say what year this is? Because like, was it the 80s? I feel like, when was Elton out? I don't even know. In 76, Elton came out as bisexual. Okay. So when was this, like, when did this happen? In 1992, he said he was quite comfortable being gay. What year was this? It doesn't say. Now, how old was she in 1990? I mean, I don't know how old this woman is. She doesn't seem that old. She seemed like a young woman in 1990. Maybe she was in her 20s then. Do they have anything? She was in ski school. Was that like the rated R one? Or is that like the one with TK Carter dancing, doing who you can love me and you can dance? Isn't that from that movie? I could be completely wrong. I might just be misremembering, but I don't see a year listed. Elsewhere in the podcast, she spoke about an accident involving her stunt double on the hoverboard. Okay, I mean, oh yeah, well that is kind of that's part of the lore of Back to the Future 2. There was an actual accident. The one thing I'm surprised that a lot of fans don't know about, which I see on Facebook, is that my stunt double got hurt in the crash and they think it was me and they thought I died or whatever. What? Now, okay. You see it on Facebook, and I have to be honest with you. You know why? Because most people are idiots. Like now, none of you are that are listening, but when you really look around, and well, I mean, you look at the world and you look around at most people and you're like, oh my God, most people are idiots. And as long as you can see how idiotic they are, then you're not one of them and whew, you're safe. You're one of us. Thank goodness. But she really thinks that, or maybe it's true. A lot of people thought that she like died or whatever, according to her. Her stunt double survived the accident, but didn't come out unscathed. She broke several bones and required 4 reconstructive surgeries over the course of 2 years. I remember like you can actually see it in the accident. So there's a link to I'll put a link to the episode that has a link to the full art. There's a link to the article that has a link to the full episode of the podcast. You can watch it on YouTube. I don't know when this year was. I can't see anything in the article that says it. It just said, it said in the 80s. Okay, it does say in the 80s. One night out with a tiny dancer singer in the 80s. I don't know, but I don't know. It says Back to the Future 2, and it is in the news. So I wanted to share it, even though, again, it has very little to do with, well, no, it does mention the stunt double, but just the fact that this woman is talking about how she was quote unquote on a quote unquote date with Elton John, to keep up appearances in the 80s. I don't know if it's interesting, but it has Back to the Future 2 on it, so it's going to get reported. So, really quick, today I actually just put the finishing touches on getting all the clips available for the rest of the year, because what I do is I have a video of the movie, a full video file, and then I chop it up into 3 minutes and 20-second clips so that I can just focus and watch those clips. I don't have to look at the timestamp and figure out exactly where I am. I just made 31 separate clips, and I was literally at clip 21 because I was making them a few in advance, and I thought, I'm here. I might as well start making the next 3 or 4, and then I just finished them off, all 10, and I marked some for this upcoming week, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the exact days, just so I knew that these are the days that I will be traveling, because come Tuesday, as I've said a million times, I am flying down to Florida. I will be there from Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday. And on Thursday morning, my mother-in-law and I start driving back to Massachusetts. So my whole thing was recording a bunch of episodes in advance and having them done. And then I thought, you know what? That's not fun. Maybe I will record some of the talking about the moments, but I can't do the full episode in advance. I want to do them. I want to record them walking around North Carolina, walking around Virginia on the way home, walking around Florida. I want to record them and put them together. So it might be clips of me talking about the episode. They might not be as in depth. Maybe I recorded that part early, but they will be a there will be at least part of every episode will be from the day that I am traveling, because maybe I also just want to vent and, talk about the day of driving for 8 hours. There could be some of that you could hear. You could actually maybe hear the tears in my voice. We'll see. It's going to be a fun, exciting adventure. I've never done the Florida Drive this early, so it's never bumped into Marchy McFly before. The first Marchy McFly did, but we went down to Florida for a very different reason. And then the fourth Marchy McFly with the cartoons, we actually traveled for fun but it was the cartoons, so I didn't care as much. It wasn't the watching the movie every single day. It was my first time not doing that. So I did record 2 or 3 episodes in advance because I was down on vacation with my wife, and I can't be like, dear, I've got to go record a podcast now. I couldn't pull that off. So this will be the first one where I'm doing a bunch of episodes. Well, I mean, technically it is the second time I'm doing it, but this is the first time that it's been built in to what I want to do. It wasn't like a spur of the moment trip that happened a few years ago. But enough about talking about what's going to be happening in the upcoming week. A week from now, I'm going to be home. Let's just put it that way. But what I do want to talk about is the next 3 minutes and 20 seconds of Back to the Future Part 2, where we discuss minutes 1 hour, 6 minutes and 40 seconds to 1 hour and 10 minutes. We are well over the hour mark, and we are closing in. Can you believe it? That we are only wow, this movie is much it's definitely is it the shortest one? I don't know. I know Part 2 is the one we're watching right now. Excuse me, I'm not going to edit that out. Part 1 was closer to 2 hours, right? So I don't know. All I know is when I clipped these together, it really did work almost perfectly. Right to the moment where I don't care about the credits, but it was like bam right there, and it makes for what I'm going to be a nice kind of even finish for the season that I'm looking forward to. But enough about that. Let's get to these next 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So it picks up right with Biff trying to get Lorraine to go to the dance with him. And she's like, I'm already going to the dance with someone else. Oh, he goes, it's about as funny as a screen door in a battleship. And Marty's like, it's on a submarine, you jerk. Oh, and by the way, see, I'm going to be going all over the place. In the book, finally today, I read a ton. I almost read almost 100 pages today. And I'm way past in the book where I am in the movie. In fact, in the book, it's like he's right at the end with the hoverboard and the car. I know I'm getting ahead of things, trying to get the almanac back. But it was interesting listening to this here, like Marty jumping in the back of the car, Marty hiding in the back of the car. He goes, I heard Marty all of a sudden felt someone get in the car. And that's when old Biff gets in the car that we're going to see in this segment here. But he talks about Marty talks about in the book, when Biff grabs Lorraine, she goes, I'm already going to the dance with someone else. I'm going with Calvin Klein. He's like, no, you're not. Get it in your thick head or whatever. You're my girl. And he grabs her and he's very aggressive. Now, in the book, Marty, he's like clenching his fists and he's like, if something doesn't happen, if she doesn't let her go in 10 seconds, I'm definitely going to get up and do something. Like even though he's risking, I don't know, the space-time continuum in the future and all this stuff, he still can't help himself. He's about to get up and defend his mother. But in the movie, we don't see any of that. We don't see him doing that at all. And in a way, I wonder if we saw him just pump his fist or something like that, because he's being very aggressive with her. In fact, Babs, the girl, the friend of Lorraine, and I remembered Babs from the book now. She's goofy and smiling the whole way. In fact, she speaks in the book. But she's got this nice smile on her face. And then Biff grabs her and she's like, huh? She makes this face. I don't know if she's I feel like I've seen her in something else. And she's someone in another movie. Oh, she's that girl. And yet in this, she just kind of makes faces and she's not very good at it. And you know what? I feel like I've looked at her IMDb before. She was let's just go through it real quick. This is the last time we see her, I think. Knots Landing, Quincy, Archie Bunkers plays like episodes. Mr. Mom, she played a motorhead in Mr. Mom. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. She was the nurse. I kind of remember that. She was a waitress in Breakin'. She was Sally on an episode of Facts of Life. Then she shows up in Back to the Future. Really does one episode of a TV show before Back to the Future Part 2. Then Doogie Howser, something. And that's pretty much it. Like, she does a couple episodes of things I never heard of. And that is really it. Let's see. Oh, she has like a degree in creative writing, a Master of Fine Arts, and she is an author now. She had a book come out in 2015 called Honey Girl, book 1 of 2. And then the sequel is called Riptide Summer. I don't know these. They don't have a ton of good reads or reviews, but they were definitely written and they do exist. Interesting. But I don't know much about it except that's the most I've ever spent on Babs, and that's the most we're ever going to spend on her because she just makes faces here. Now, this is where Biff gets very, very jerky again. Not as bad as he will that night at the dance, but right now he gets right up in her face, grabs her, and is like, when are you going to get it through your head? You're my girl. And she's like, I want to be your girl for $1 million. And then she hits him over the head with steps on his foot, hits her over the head with the box of the dress she had, and they run. And Biff starts screaming down the street, screaming after her.
I'm going to marry you someday, Lorraine. Someday you'll be my wife.
And the moment he says that, he turns, goes back to his car, and he sees some old man sitting there in his car. He's like, what the hell are you doing in my car, old man? And the old guy, the old timer, we know him as Old Biff. And he says, oh, you want to marry that girl someday? I could help make it happen. And it made me think of that meme that we saw. Oh, like, I feel like it was big, like over the fall, maybe even last summer, just over and over and over. I saw it on TikTok all the time. It might have been on YouTube, might have been on Instagram, might have been on Facebook. I don't know. Probably not on Threads. I don't know if Threads only gives me notifications of things I don't even follow or people I don't even know. But if you were on TikTok at all within the last year, there was no way you would miss this meme where like the caption would say something like, it's very important that when that old man tells you he can make you rich and that he can help you marry Lorraine, you listen to him.
I'm gonna make Lorraine my wife. Time traveling old man made me a rich asshole.
Baby. There's literally no way that you could have avoided that meme on TikTok within the last year. And I've been thinking about that one for weeks. And I finally recorded it tonight. And I am going to make a TikTok video to put it up there too. But it's just like, it's exactly, the lyrics. That's not the original meme, obviously. But it fits that Biff wants to make Lorraine his wife. That's like the moment right here. He says, you're going to be my wife someday, Lorraine. And old Biff's like, oh, you want that to happen? I can help you out. He's like, what are you, Miss Lonely Hearts or something? But it's exactly right. All you got to do is listen to this guy and you will make it. You will be rich. Now, it's funny when I'm thinking, when I was reading the book today, also, another thing popped in my mind. Again, I think I brought this up before, like there's no reason for them to be in a rush. If they don't get it now, wait a day, get it tomorrow, get it the next day, get it over the next 3 years. We pretty much know he doesn't make a bet. Now, if I was Biff, I would have made little bets here and there, would have called bookies, would have got older people. Hey, place this bet with me. Like maybe just a little one just to test things out. But you did have more time. So there was a kind of a neat thing where Biff mentioned to Terry, the repairman, the other day, like, he's like, I can't get this car started. He's like, nobody can start this car but me. Now I say it's neat, but it's also kind of like, it's almost like when you look back and it's like, well, that's a setup for something to come. But when you're young and you're watching it for the first time, like, I think nowadays I would have thought, oh, that's setting something up. Where back then, I didn't see it that way. Like I didn't see the gag coming. So Biff starts the car, old Biff, and he's like, "How'd you do that?" He goes, "Let's just say I'm a distant relative. Get in." And I don't know why, but old Biff drives home. Now, to me, I feel like old Biff hasn't driven a car in years, and especially not this car. It's very funny how he just pulls into the driveway like a madman, runs over some bushes like a completely out of control driver, like, you know, that's just like a madman, like an old person driving, just running over things and not caring, like completely reckless. And, you know, I'm trying to put logic to it, like, oh, he hasn't driven in a long time, but he's still driving here. But there, I feel like there is a technical reason for this exactly, and it's for the shot of the car coming in the garage. So, you know, Thomas Wilson is playing both characters here, right, side by side with each other. We don't get, I mean, Marty is with Marty and Marlene in Back to the Future, you know, in the 2015. As much as I say I'm not going to talk about 2015, but they interact very little. A couple words here, a couple words there. Like here, we're having a full conversation between Biff and Biff, and when the car, you know, young Biff is turned around in the car, he's like, "What are you doing? I just paid $300 for that." Like, because he ran into a bush, and he's looking back. And the reason he's doing this is so when the car turns into the garage, there is someone. Young Biff has his back turned, like he's like hanging out of the car because of the reckless driving, while old Biff is actually driving the car. And that's so they can have the young Biff not look in the camera, because this is 1989, probably 1988, maybe when they're filming it. This is, you know, digital effects for everything that you can make it so easy. Like right here, this is just a little trick where the old Biff's driving and the young Biff is, you know, looking away because it's a double. And then they zoom in on the old Biff and we don't have to see young Biff anymore. And when they pull back, now we're in the split screen, and it is a perfect, you know, I talk about seeing the seam. The seam is right in the middle of the actual car. Like they're able to interact because there is a bar in the middle of the windshield. The windshield is split and there's like a metal bar going right down the middle, and that allows them to pass things back and forth. That allows, you know, at one point, old Biff reaches and slaps young Biff, and then when they pull back, it's both of them because someone else was sitting there, you know, for the whole conversation. Someone else slapped young Biff, and then when they reshot it, someone is there for young Biff, and, you know, Biff is slapping him, or, you know, they're able to cut it together. Now, again, in Back to the Future 2, I feel like I've talked about this a million times. No one has peripheral vision. No one turns around. Biff is talking to Biff, and literally Marty is like sitting right there in the back of the car and sticks his head up, and nobody is nobody notices him. Neither Tannen notice when Marty sticks his head up. So he gives the almanac to young Biff, and Biff's like, "Thank you very much." That, like, he doesn't believe him. He's like, "That's really wonderful, great," and he throws it in the back. Oh, first he goes, "Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?" And old Biff's like, "It's a leave. Why don't you make like a tree and leave, you butthead?" That's when he slaps him in the head. And I do like young Biff's acting here. Like, he just like yelling at him. He throws, like, he's beside himself with this old guy out of nowhere treating him like garbage. So old Biff's like, "Let me prove something to you." And he turns on, and he just happens to turn on the end of a football game for UCLA. They say they're down 17-16. Looks like it's all over here. And Biff goes, "Old Biff, I bet you $1 million UCLA wins 19-17. And he's like, "What are you talking about, old man? The guy said it's over. You lose." I always was annoyed by the way young Biff said that. But obviously we see the final results of the game as a field goal goes through the uprights for UCLA, and they win 19-17. And I did a little digging. I looked up UCLA 1955 season, and wouldn't you know it, they had a game on November 12th, 1955, where UCLA defeated Washington 19-17. Was it a last-minute field goal? I don't know. But here's another thing I don't know about. What time of day is it? I'm very confused. So in the book, Doc says, go get something inconspicuous. It is dark out. The sun hasn't risen yet. It's like 6 a.m., right? Next thing you know, Marty is in full wardrobe and the sun is out. Well, how long has he been waiting outside Biff's? How long, like, he went to a store. Now, in the book, it's like they just said, it's a good thing Marty found a secondhand store, clothing store that was open early. So he had to find a store open early on a Saturday. I don't know. To me, I always thought department stores opened at 10 o'clock on Saturdays, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they open at 9. Either way, that's still 3 hours between when Marty left Doc and Marty could get to the store. So he had to get to a store very early in 1955. It's not like there's a 24-hour Walmart. I don't know if they had 24-hour stores at all, but enough to buy, that ensemble. He was able to get there, get the clothes. Now, it could be noontime at this point, right? I guess he follows Biff all the way downtown. Then they drive the car back. And at that point, how many hours have passed that there's an end of a football game? You understand what I'm saying? Like, we went from 6 o'clock to what time do college games start? 1? Do they start at 1 o'clock usually? Like NFL? Let's just say 1 or noon. Let's say noon for the fun of it. Then that's 3 o'clock. So now this is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So what the hell has he been doing all that? Now in the book, it's like, it's even worse about what Doc's doing. Doc's just sitting by the car. He's like sitting by the car. He's having dreams about the Old West. He's going to look for litter to pick up to put Mr. Fusion in. We get a couple extra deleted scenes that maybe I'll talk about tomorrow. I do like that the book has been including the deleted scenes. Like, we have Dave McFly, being a drunk who gets kicked out. Marty, let's go. He wants to go get a drink. He's like, I'm underage, Dave. We do have Old Man Peabody show up again looking for that spaceship out by Lyons Estates. Like, I don't know if all these things were shot, but I've seen images of Old Man Peabody, and the footage of Dave McFly is a deleted scene that I have seen. But I like that the book includes these things. But when we're on this clip and this day of, Marty showing up, following Biff, well, yesterday and today showing up, following Biff, and then, being in the car, and old Biff showing young Biff that this book actually is right. It was always like, it just didn't make sense how many frigging hours have passed in the day to get to this point, because like the next thing you know, they're going to be getting ready for the dance. But Biff shows young Biff, he's like, how'd you do that? He goes, all the answers are right here. All you have to do is bet on it, and you can't lose. You can see Biff is completely in shock when it happens, and he's like he believes it now. But he's like, okay, thanks, old man. And he's like, I'll make sure to use it. This is great. Thank you. And then he takes the magazine, the book, and throws it right in the back seat. And that might be the shot. Like, that's the shot where I'm like, okay, it's a little special effectsy here. Oh, wait, no. That's earlier when he first gets back to the house and he shows him the magazine and he's like, yeah, whatever. He throws it in the back seat of the car. That's where it looks like it's a bad special effect. It's probably one of the worst special effects of the thing. It just looks it looks definitely drawn. In fact, at one point, the book is in front of old Biff, then it's behind him. Oh my God, he threw it to him. That's how he handed it back to him. Oh my gosh. If you're watching this clip, it's right when he shows him the almanac. He's like, that's really wonderful, great. And that's when he says, make like a tree and leave. And he hits him. He throws the magazine back to him. Oh, it just looks it looks like a hand-drawn cartoon. It almost looks Roger Rabbit-y. But at the end, when he throws it in the back seat, he throws it right on top of Marty, almost gets it. He's like, what are you, an idiot? Because you never leave this out of your sight. They get out of the car, and that's where the segment ends. So, where are we in this 3 minutes and 20 seconds? Well, now young Biff knows about the almanac, and old Biff kind of gave him the key to being rich and famous and turning into a complete monster, more so than you are now, because we see him be a monster to Lorraine tonight. We see him be a bit of a monster to Lorraine outside, right in front of Babs, grabbing him. You're my girl. We basically see him saying, I'm going to marry you someday. And she's like, I wouldn't marry you if you had $1 million. Well, Lorraine, one of those things is true and one of them isn't. And unfortunately, the part that wasn't true was the lines that you said. Because at that point, because neither future had happened for them yet. So Biff was 100% right and Lorraine was 100% wrong, because at that point, old Biff was right there to give young Biff the almanac, now creating a whole new future that only Marty and Doc know about. Even old Biff doesn't realize how bad it would be, or maybe for him, how good it will be. Maybe that's it. He doesn't old Biff doesn't realize how wonderful everything turns out, even though most other people would think, most rational people would think that what's going on in the world is kind of shitty right now. I mean, in that alternate 1985, that's what I meant. Yeah. And that's where we finish for today's segment. So that is it for today, but we are closing in. We are so close. In fact, on Tuesday when I'm in Florida, that will be the 1 week left. After that, everything will be the final Wednesday, the final Thursday, the final Friday, because everything ends on Tuesday, the 31st. Wow. If you want to make a month fly by, do a podcast every single day about one topic, one theme, whether it's, movie month or Joggist or Marchy McFly, or even the 25 days of Sitcom All Ye Faithful. It makes the month fly by, and maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe I should, enjoy and smell the roses. Or maybe doing a podcast every single day is smelling the roses. I don't know where to go from there except to say, I'll be back tomorrow, my friends. But until then, you can follow me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok. Check out TikTok, Geek Mentality Mike. The Facebook page, Fans Not Experts. The YouTube channel, Fans Not Experts. The website, fansnotexperts.com, where every episode of Marchy McFly, every episode of Geek Mentality, every episode of every friggin' thing I do can be found there. I'll be back tomorrow, my friends. Another fantastic 3 minutes and 20 seconds of Back to the Future Part 2. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode. Fans Not Experts.